Hey, I'm Kristi Mitchell, and welcome to Unfudge Your Marketing, the podcast where we talk about what really happens when marketing doesn't go according to plan. Every week, I sit down with business owners and leaders to unpack the missteps, the experiments that didn't land, and the decisions they'd probably rethink if given a do-over. But more importantly, we talk about what they learned on the other side and what you can take with you as you build your own business. Success rarely comes from getting it right the first time. It comes from taking action, making mistakes, adjusting, and showing up again and again. If you've ever wondered whether you're the only one figuring this out as you go, you're in the right place. Hello. I am excited today to welcome Marisa Cali to the show. Marisa is a consulting strategist and event producer who helps leaders and teams create clarity in how they work, communicate, and show up, especially in a work-from-anywhere world. With nearly 2 decades of experience across marketing, events, and technology, she specializes in turning scattered efforts into intentional systems that support focus, alignment, and meaningful connection. This is why Marisa and I get along. We have a lot of shared values and synergies. Her work blends digital wellness, mindful AI adoption, and experience design to help organizations reduce noise and make smarter, more human decisions. With that, I will welcome Marisa to the show.
Oh,
are we there?
Hi.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
I was like, I welcome you to the show,
that was
and then
weird.
all of a sudden everything froze.
Okay, I'm going to say it again. Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yay. Thank you so much for being here. I always like to kick off our conversation by sharing how I met my guest, which we were chatting about that backstage before we came on air. And we will give Michelle Denayo a shout out today. Michelle runs different communities and groups. And I guess Marisa put a call out saying she wanted to get on more podcasts, and mine came up. So she reached out, and yeah, we've been chatting ever since.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for giving her a shout out. I always sometimes, you're lost in the digital world and you're like, how did we connect? Like, we're connected on LinkedIn. Yes. But yeah, thank you for giving her the shout out and reminding everyone just to pay it back to the person that introduced you. Yes.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, there's always I feel like it's definitely like less than 6 degrees of separation these days in the digital world, but it's always cool to kind of trace it back and figure out how did we originally connect.
Right.
So Marisa, when we talked about you coming on the show today, we were chatting about the great hot topic of 2026 and beyond, I'm sure, which is AI.
Yes.
And how you see a lot of your clients kind of jumping to AI, maybe without a strategy, without clarity on why they're doing it. So I'm sure that our time is going to fly by today because there's so much to be said on the topic. But where exactly would you like to kind of kick things off?
Yeah. Thank you for having me again. I know we talked briefly offline about, being at an AI conference, and I feel like every show event that I'm present at is AI for events. And what I'm seeing is everyone wanting to be like integrating it into their workflow and their marketing strategy and all that. And they're lacking the clarity that they need to actually use it. And I don't know about you. I grew up in the age of like, new tools. And so early adopter is like a thing for me. Like every tool I'm using, I'm coming up on 2 years or 3 years using ChatGPT, which, when it first came out, I was like, oh, what is this? Like, oh no, we're going to like use the tool to like write our copy. But, I think what people have, lost with all the tools is the fact that it's there. So I'm going to use it, but they're not giving it the attention that any type of strategy or any type of copywriting, thing or like a marketing strategy attention would need. They're just like, hey, like come up with a content calendar for me. And you're like, okay. Yeah. It's like, okay. And chat is like, yeah, okay, here's a 30, and that's how it, like, I feel like that's the voice of chat is very like,
yes,
bubbly and, very
Okay, let's
it's
do
gonna be,
it.
yeah, you're like, it's so good, and like there's no strategic mind behind it unless you're
Hmm.
actually putting that strategic human brain into your prompt or your strategy of how you're
Yes.
using it. So that's the overarching topic. I
Yeah.
think that a lot of people, they're like, "Ooh, I want to use this and I'm going to go use it." Like, I don't know how many freaking um AI marketing posters or flyers I'm seeing on the feed now, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Wow, everyone looks the same." It's like,
Yes. Yeah.
"Come to my show," and then it's like the paint, and then it's like the little things on the bottom. I'm like, "They all look the same. Like, this is bad." You
Yeah.
know? So,
I know. And when we were talking about having this conversation, I didn't realize the timing of it did end up being so perfect because we were sharing before we came
yeah.
on that I just attended a day-long AI conference last week. And so a lot of the things
Mhm,
that I took away from that conference are still very fresh in my brain. And I'm posting all
mhm,
week this week on, my lessons and takeaways from that conference.
mhm,
But one of the things, Marissa, that one of the speakers I attended, what she said was, not to go to AI for ideas. She uses
mhm,
AI to bring her ideas to life. And
mm,
she's an insurance agency owner, and so she doesn't have,
mm,
she's a small business. She doesn't have like a huge marketing budget. She can't go out and hire all these different marketing specialties, but she has these great
mhm,
ideas for marketing campaigns. And so she really talked us through step by step how she used different AI tools, created like a stack for herself, basically a marketing stack that
mhm,
enabled her to bring this great idea that she had to life in terms of a marketing campaign. And that is what
mhm,
immediately came to mind when we were talking about having this conversation today is like, don't it drives me nuts when business owners go to AI to ask it for ideas. I'm like, to
yeah.
me, it's like you are the thought leader, you're the expert. Like, yeah, there are
Mhm,
some things I've used AI for in terms of brainstorming, but I really like
mhm,
this notion of thinking about the AI tools as the catalyst to help bring your ideas to life. I'm curious how that sits with
mhm.
you.
Yeah, and I think, that it comes back to, like, how you wanna operate as a business owner. Like, um, I think, in general, we're overwhelmed with tools, and now we've got something in our head you know, at the forefront of all the marketing, and it's like, okay, well, we'll even on Instagram, you've got, like, the Meta AI, like, use the Meta AI to and it's like, okay, so I'm just gonna use it, right? But they're not thinking from a strategic brain standpoint, like, maybe test this idea, or like, let me create space in my calendar so I can test an idea, or I can come up with ideas that I've
Yes.
had, right? And then test them in AI. Like, test them meaning, like, does this align with my brand? And
Mhm.
will this, I mean, even you saying that right now, I'm like, oh, I'm loving, like, the World Cup right now, and I don't know when this is going to come out, but like the World Cup is huge for me right now. I love soccer, and I'm like, oh, how can I post about soccer? But I'm like, but it doesn't align with what I'm doing right now in terms of
Mhm.
what I'm posting about and like what I'm talking, these conversations. So, maybe I'll go to AI and see, like, how can I integrate this with what I'm posting about now or what's on my
Yes.
newsletter coming up. But if
Mhm.
it doesn't align, then I'm not going to do it. Like, I can still enjoy soccer. I don't have
Yes.
to make content about it, right? Or
Yes.
like the
Right.
stories behind it. And that, I think, is where I think we just sometimes, when it comes to AI, we just have to pause a little bit and just be like,
Yes.
okay, like, does this align with
Yes.
what I'm doing? Or
Yeah,
is
and
this an idea
again,
for later?
yes.
Go ahead.
And again, I think there's like a twofold thing here. It's you have this idea, right? That the World Cup is really big and you're like, "Oh, how could I tie this in?" And I actually I'm really good friends with a copywriter turned storytelling coach, and she has some really great custom GPTs, and I've used them
Mhm,
to help. I think
mhm,
one of them is called like the point maker tool, and I'll go to it when
mhm,
I'm like, I want to talk about this, but I'm not really sure how it relates. And then I can go to it and
mhm.
like spit it in there and then see what it says. So to your point, like
Right.
it's still you're having the idea yourself as the expert in
Mhm,
your space and the thought leader. you're going to
Mhm.
AI to kind of test it out. And then the point you're making now is like, you still need to be the decision maker. Like you don't need to move forward with it. If I input that into this point maker tool and I'm like, meh, feels like a bit of a stretch or like isn't really quite aligned, like, okay, then I'm not going to do it. But I think, you know, what you and I are both seeing in the market right now, especially, is that AI is almost being like shoved down everyone's throats with all these tools and all these ways you can use it, that many business owners are just like, okay, yep, let's do it. And not taking that time to pause and consider, is this really the best path forward?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you see it with AI trends, right? Like the sketches and then the like bobblehead dolls and like it's like everything is like a trend and then you just move on. Okay, that might be a fun thing, but if you're a business owner and do you want that to represent you online, right? Like if you are, you know, are just coming up with this idea and then let it be, right? Okay, I'm going to set it down, move forward, right?
Yes. So, yeah, maybe it's a fun little side thing you want to hop on the bandwagon, but is that really going to inform your strategy and how you're approaching your content on an ongoing basis? Hopefully not, unless it feels aligned and it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and I also think we have to, you know, there's the bigger conversation from AI is like the use of resources and data centers. This is a big thing, big topic. People are trying to stop data centers being built. And I feel like the more we use it, the more it's going to be validated that we do need these data centers to supplement our habits, right? And it's like, so I'm like, then I think backwards and I'm like, no, I don't want to generate this image because I'm, you know, I can do my part, you know, and maybe not contribute more, you know, resources to that. So when you become an early adopter, you kind of see the flow, you see that, you know, you want people to adopt it, but you also are then mindful of the use of it because I personally don't want technology or the robots to take over. So
yeah. Oh gosh, yes, we have those conversations in my house all the time. I want to go back on the same lines, Marisa, in terms of like conscious use of, I want to go back to something you said where it's like, I think you were talking about meta AI, and it's like, you know, you log into a platform you've been using for something else, and then all of a sudden there's like this AI feature. Do you like, how do you see business? Do you think most businesses are just like, oh, AI's here, okay, let's use it? Or do you think they stop to think through, do I really need this? Or am I fine using the platform without this new integrated AI feature?
I think a majority of people do have FOMO. So they want to, hey, it's right here in my DMs, or, you know, I'm getting a prompt about it. So I think they will use it. But then that's still not pausing to think, how will this contribute to my revenue generating tasks? Or how can I use this to maybe hire someone that actually is a human that can manage the marketing or whatever else, you know, operations or something. And I think they're not doing that pause. It's just a small pause. Like it's literally like, okay, I'm not going to use this. Let me just think about it. Let me put it on my list, because that's how we did business before we had all these tools being shoved down our throats. It was like, okay, like I have this idea. Let me put it on my list. It wasn't like, ooh, right in my phone. Hey, you know, let me do this now. So yeah, I don't think that, I think it, you know, a lot of people are just using it, or it's contributing to the scroll. I mean, how many times are you looking at your phone per day? And then your app usage, like, do you look at that at all? Like, digital wellness is such a huge thing for me, and it's been like a topic on the front of my head like for 3-4 years of like, I've got to really, like, I notice myself scrolling a lot, and I'm like, and I'm so conscious of it, and I can't imagine other people are doing the same, right? Or actually pausing it, maybe. And I think that is just the toughest part of technology, because it is so accessible as an extension of our hand. But we're not pausing.
Yes. And I think too, to me, I see AI, especially in the marketing world, as just contributing to a lot of the challenges we already had in marketing. It can certainly help. This isn't like a doom and gloom, AI is the worst thing ever, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like, this is not that type of conversation. I think it's really about conscious use and making choices and taking time to pause and make a conscious decision about how we want to move forward. But I think for me, especially as a marketing strategist, what I've seen over the last, over 7 years running my business is that so many business owners just want speed, right? They want leads. They want them yesterday. And I see this a lot with paid ads, right? Since I focus on organic marketing strategy, a lot of times, as you can probably imagine, I meet businesses who are just like, yeah, I think I'm just going to go run some paid ads because that's going to be a lot quicker than like doing all this organic strategy, foundational stuff that doesn't sound as sexy or as exciting. And it's going to take a while. And really, like, we just need new business tomorrow. So we're going to go do paid ads because that seems like it's going to work way faster. And what I see time and time again, as you can probably imagine, is that it doesn't work out and they come back and they're like, yeah, okay, I guess maybe we need to talk about that strategy thing again. And so I see AI, unfortunately, amplifying this in terms of people wanting that quick answer, that quick win, that quick solution to this challenge that they've had. And I don't see AI delivering because I still don't think that there is a shortcut to having a strategy.
No, definitely not. I think, good that they can come back to you and you have that door open, right? You didn't like cut them off. But also, the bigger thing is, in their eyes, if it doesn't work for them, marketing doesn't work. When it's like, actually, well, you didn't really do it consistently, or like you didn't have other things tied together, right? Like there's or the organic strategy that you're doing, there's paid ads, they can do both. They can do, I mean, it depends on the type of business, this, right? Many different ways. And I think what we could also leverage AI in that sense is like how do we integrate all the other aspects of marketing, and like, can you build a strategy for them, and then how do they leverage it? Like, how can they be a supplement to what your strategy is, and like, how do they show up in a different, as a business owner? Like, how can they help themselves, right? Like, if they're hiring you to do the strategy, or they're hiring a team or whatever, but like, how can they as a business owner be at the forefront of those thoughts, so that, hey, we have an idea, or let's do a quarterly marketing like strategic retreat. Like, or I mean, I say strategic retreat, like a lot of times, and this, when people are like, hey, I want to do content, and they just never create time to do it. Right. So like blocking out like a half day to say, hey, this is our professional development day and we're going to create content. Like, that's fun to me. Like, I feel like that would be a fun thing to do when I get together with my friends who know how to do content. I'm like, let's create some content, not just have lunch. Right. And I think there's not that business owner leader mentality when they, they want to be a business leader, they want to be a CEO, but they're not acting like it. They're acting more like a team member, right? Like doing the things. I need to get sales right away. Yeah. Sometimes that might not be your thing because you're too in it, right? You gotta outsource it. You gotta find someone to work with, even if it's temporarily, right? And I think there's just ways to integrate your ideas with AI tools and or more humans that can, help you get further down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing, for me as a business owner in the marketing world, especially this year, really wanting to lean into that conversation and be able to show businesses the right way to use AI. And my right way may not be another marketer's right way. As we know, especially in the world of marketing, you can ask 10 different people and get 10 different opinions on what the right way is. But showing them that there is a positive path forward, there is a way you can leverage these AI tools without compromising your authenticity, without compromising your brand, without making you fall into this sea of sameness that everyone is seeing out there, and then you're not getting the results that you want. There are ways you can leverage AI to do that. And that's where I'm getting really passionate about wanting to be that voice and that strategist and play that role with businesses. It's not just about your marketing plan. It's how is that marketing plan going to get executed? Where should we leverage AI? And where is it better to still lean on those experts, those people to do the execution for us? Because I think it is all about moderation, and it's all about a blend of everything.
Right, exactly. I think, for so long, marketing has been treated like the ugly stepchild, right? Like it's the last thing on the list to do, right? And now that we have all these platforms, like, you don't think of that the same way you think of like having a lawyer for your business or insurance or, what was it? Taxes, right? Accounting. You don't think of that like that. It's like, oh, like I have to have that, right? So I think the conversation from anyone who's in marketing or has strategy or is building experiences, like you have to think about it like this is something you just have to have. What type of marketing? Obviously, like to your point, is does it align with the business that you have or the people that you have? Like someone who isn't comfortable on camera, well, maybe you could get someone that could help coach you be comfortable on camera. Or like maybe you just you're not on camera, and then you have to deal with the side effects of that where people don't see you and maybe they don't build a relationship with you. So there's a lot of different ways to, I guess, approach that thought process. But again, like thinking about it, like you need a partner or you need someone who's heavy into the world of marketing, and really kind of get their advice and pick their brain for a cost, of course, right? Like I'm gonna say that for, picking your brain isn't always like a free thing, right? Because our brains are deep into the marketing. So
yeah, I think you're so right, Marisa. And I always feel so good when I hear other business owners say the same thing. I mean, no one said it in those words that marketing's like the ugly stepchild. But you're right. So many businesses see it as almost an annoyance or like we should probably do that, but like we're just gonna keep pushing it to the back burner, or they don't see it as the same importance or critical importance as some of these other business functions. And I think it's not until the lead flow, right? Like the pipeline dries up, we don't have as many clients as we want, and all of a sudden now we need to invest in our marketing, when I always say like marketing is something you should be doing all along the way, even if you don't need to be selling, because you don't want to wait until you need it, because then you're already behind and then you're hustling. And then that leads to that whole like, we just need to do something right away because we need these results like instantaneously. And it's better to kind of be chipping away at it over time. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. To have that consistent presence and to steadily be working on those things so that you don't get to a place of being desperate to have your marketing need to produce results for you overnight.
Yeah. And I think, you bring up a really good point about, always chipping away at it. I think that, some people think like, and I think with the age of digital coming, like, kind of being thrust in front of us, and now ads are like, oh, like, you buy this course and then grow your business by like 10%. And it's like, but that is being marketed to you for that specific product. And then you would now then be in that marketing business, right? You would be marketing that product or whatever. Right. And I think from a business owner standpoint, you've got to understand, am I consuming that from like, I'm a consumer, or am I looking at it like, hey, this is right for my business? Because you would do the same with any other business function, like insurance and accounting or staffing, right? Like you're not just someone comes and gives you an application and you're saying, okay, you're hired. Like, no, you interview them. You kind of figure out, is there alignment? And I think we just don't think of that. And that's marketing, that's AI tools, that's really anything. It's always coming like right at us. I mean, that's their whole job. Their whole job is to keep us
Yes.
on the platforms, right?
Right.
Like that, the
Right.
marketing is working by us continuing to consume, but we're not putting that lens of business owner or like, is this clear? This is
Yes.
clearly aligned with our business, right? And does it
Yeah.
allow us to be successful or even feel good about our business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and that's one of the things too that I've said, you know, to go to AI and ask it to create a marketing plan for you, you're going to miss so much nuance that working with a human expert can help with, right? To your point, like,
yeah,
okay, if AI tells you you need to go create all these videos and you're like, but I'm not getting on video, like, okay, now
yeah.
what do I do? You know, well, I can't
Mhm.
implement that plan that it told me to. Whereas when you work with an expert, it's more of a dialogue, it's more of a collaboration and this ongoing dialogue about what makes sense for you and your business specifically. And I'm just personally not a believer in like cookie cutter marketing. Like everybody's marketing, I think, should look different and be catered and customized to that business,
right,
that business owner, those target audiences they're trying to connect with. Like there's just so much nuance to it. I don't think it can ever be like a cut and dry, one size fits all model.
No. Yeah. No, and even now, like the models, the AI models like Chat or Claude, they're a little outdated. I mean, they're basically, it's a crowdsourcing, right? Like you're crowdsourcing
Yes.
all of this information. So if you ask it something now, it's not going to give you what's trending right now. It's going to give you what's been trending for 2 years prior. Yeah, it's getting a little bit better as more people use it, but it's still not like current, right? Like like if you said what's the trend for today, you're not going to come up with the trend. And I feel trend is like, its trends are just it's so tough. Trends, that's a whole nother show. I'm sure.
Yes.
You know, but like it's what does, you know, getting that word out, what trends for your business, what allows you to feel fully confident in how you show up online, right? Does this align with you as a business owner? Are you on camera? Are you not on camera? Are you, you know, marketing your product versus marketing your brand? I mean, there's so many different ways. You know this. I'm talking to a strategist, but you know, I think the conversation needs to be had is, are you taking a step back to see if this actually aligns with your business or who you are and your team? So
yes, I think that is definitely the common theme through this conversation today. So Marisa, our time flew by as I knew that it would. Is there any last piece of advice that you want to leave?
Yeah, and this is something I talk about all the time, is like, if you're a business owner or if you're, you know, running things on your own or you have a small team, give yourselves permission to step back, rest, reset, and realign. And that's constant. It's not like once a year or in November when we talk about what are your goals for next year. Like you can have a goal setting conversation with yourself, or, you know, just pause and think, okay, like, is this really aligned? And I think in the age of digital, we have to do that for ourselves. And that is the reminder. Give yourselves permission.
I love it. Such a great tip. Very lastly, Marisa, how can people learn more about you and the work that you do?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. You can search me, Marisa Cali. I should come up. There's actually a couple of us, but I'm the most active. So hopefully it'll come up, and you and I are connected. So hopefully people will find me through that. You can also go to my website at bepresentllc.com, and then if you want to, you can call or text me, and I'm going to give my number out. 615-212-8993.
Oh my gosh, I think you're the first person ever to leave a phone number on this show. I love it. I'll be so curious if anyone takes you up on that offer. Marisa, thank you so much for your willingness to come on the show and share some of your insights and experiences with the clients that you work with. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I look forward to continuing to stay in touch with you.
Yes, for sure. All right, everybody. Until